Hi. We all have things that haunt us, or maybe have haunted us before. I thought I'd share some of those with you now. This is The Things That Haunted Me, number 1. It's specifically in my childhood from up to about 9 years old while I was still in the UK. So it's going to be pertaining to things that stuck in my memory because of that. Any subsequent volumes beyond this, we'll cover further topics, but for now it's just the first 9 years. Let's start off with a pretty gentle one. Pingu. Pingu is an animated children's television series co-created by Ottmar Gutmann and Erika Brueggemann that first aired in Switzerland. It was produced from 1990 to 2000 by Swiss companies the Pygos Group, originally called Editoy AG, then later Pingu BV, and Pingu Film Studio, originally Trick Film Studio, in Switzerland. It was later revived from 2003 to 2006 by British companies Hit Entertainment and Hot Animation. The series focuses on a family of anthropomorphic emperor penguins who live in the South Pole. The main character is the family's son and title character, Pingu. Pingu became popular outside of Switzerland, particularly in the United Kingdom and Japan, in part due to its lack of a real spoken language. Nearly all dialogue is in an invented Grammarlot penguin language, referred to as Penguinese or Pinguish, consisting of babbling, muttering, and the titular character's characteristic sporadic honking sound, which could be popularly recognized as or other variants accompanied by turning his beak into a megaphone-like shape. The program is set in Antarctica and focuses around penguin families living and working in igloos. The main character Pingu belongs to one such family. He frequently goes on adventures with his little sister Pinga and often gets into mischief with his best friend Robbie and his love interest Pingy. Many of you today might know him from various memes, such as these. Now, this series isn't meant to be scary. It's just a penguin getting into mischief almost every episode. Granted, some of the animation choices are a little terrifying, even now. I'm going to cover the 2 specific moments I remember from the show that scared me when I was younger. In Season 1, Episode 14, Pingu runs away. The family is having dinner. Pingu doesn't seem interested in the food and causes a tantrum, even throwing food at his mum. He has a fight with his parents and runs away from home. It's when he reaches some fairly creepy ice sculptures in the middle of the night. That's what I remember. Their choice in shapes definitely gave me a fright when I was younger. Not so much now. The episode ends with his family finding him and bringing him home. In the first season, what was episode 26, Pingu dreams. Pingu nods off to sleep and has some rather bizarre dream. His igloo floats away, his bed starts to move around on its own, and he's being stalked by a rather freaky-looking giant walrus. The walrus is certainly a creepy one. He plays games with Pingu and even gives us a scary scene of him eating Pingu's bed. The episode ends with Pingu waking up from his nightmare. Yeah, Pingu's still kind of, it weirds me out. It's definitely just about the animation choices that they go with on some of these. And that walrus, he's just, I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. Got a bit of a Steve Harvey vibe, you know what I mean? But like a creepy Steve Harvey. Yeah, it's just weird, right? It's just weird. No matter what, it's still a bit weird, but I wouldn't really call the show itself scary. It's not meant to be. It's just, yeah. I think it's just certain animation and claymation that really, really stuck out to me. But yet again, like I said, Wallace and Gromit doesn't really frighten me. And an honorable mention that we have later on in this is the trapdoor, which yet again is another claymation that doesn't really scare me. It's just certain things caught me off guard when I was younger. Anyway, let's move on to our next one, Noddy. Noddy is an English character created by English children's author Enid Blyton. Noddy first appeared in a book series published between 1949 and 1963, illustrated by the Dutch artist Harmsen van der Beek, from 1949 until his death in 1953, after which the work was continued by Peter Wink. Television shows based on the character have run on British television from 1955 to 2020. It is said that Enid Blyton took inspiration for Noddy from the village of Studland in Dorset, where she would holiday virtually every summer. A small copse nearby was said to be Noddy's Wood. PC Christopher Roan, whom Blyton met while he was on the beat, came to be immortalised as PC Plod in the Noddy books, and the national archetype of a flat-footed copper. Now, there are many different TV shows of Noddy, but the one in particular I'm thinking of comes from Noddy's Toyland Adventures, which premiered in 1992. I watched it a few years later, and was haunted by a particular scene that kept popping in my head. All I remembered was Noddy was in some dark forest, and his car gets stolen. I've since found that clip. I'll share it with you now.
It's a bit dark. I wish I hadn't come. I don't really want to be rich. Where's this party of yours? Don't make that silly noise.
You can stop here.
Where are the voices and the music? Where is the party?
Hello, Noddy. Yours the party.
Gobbo, is it your party?
That is right. Get out of your car.
When do we start dancing?
Oh, we won't start dancing. In fact, this party is a trick.
What sort of trick?
We want to use your car for ourselves.
You bad, wicked goblins! That's stealing!
We're only borrowing your car. It's the only way we can have a ride. Goblins aren't allowed to have cars.
I should think not, if this is how you behave.
I like your hat, Noddy. I think I'll borrow that as well.
No, not my hat! Leave me my hat!
Move over, slime. I want to drive.
Oh, help. Help! I shouldn't have come to the dark wood.
Don't worry though, Noddy gets help from Big Ears, who then enlists the help of Mr. Plod and Bumpy the dog, and they retrieve the car and the hat and take the goblins away. Happy ending. Looking back at it, there's nothing really scary about it. But Noddy does get his car stolen by the goblins, no matter what they call it. It's so easy to mistake things as a child, and misremember things perfectly. But this was definitely worth looking into. Noddy yet again, it's there's nothing really scary about the show. Absolutely not. It's just, for some reason, that very specific part in the dark forest where he gets robbed. He gets robbed. They take his car. They take his stuff. In the old books, apparently, they stripped him naked and stuff. It was like, golly, what? It's really weird. It's really, really weird. But anyway, it's just for some reason I remember that not super vividly. But I remembered the bits and pieces of it being in a dark forest. I remember his car gets stolen. That's what I kind of remembered. For some reason, it just irked me when I was younger. You know what I mean? But rewatching it now, like the whole episode, I was like, yeah, young me was a bit dumb. But hey, you live and you learn, right? I mean, wasn't even 10 years old. Anyway, let's move on to something that still kind of freaks me out to this very day. Mr. Blobby. He's 7 foot tall. He'll smash anything breakable. He's got massive, terrifying eyes. He sounds like a Dalek on speed.
Blobby, blobby, blobby!
He wears nothing except a spotty bow tie. He has a very limited vocabulary. He's bright pink with yellow spots. He is Mr. Blobby. Mr. Blobby first appeared in 1992 in the Gotcha segment of the second series of Noel's House Party, in which celebrities were caught out in a candid camera-style prank. Mr. Blobby was presented to the celebrities as if he were a real and established children's television character, in order to record a feature about the guests' professions. In reality, the setup was completely fictitious, and the character of Mr. Blobby, portrayed by Barry Killerby in a costume created by artist Joshua Snow, focused on acting childishly and unprofessionally, to irritate the celebrities taking part. After the conclusion of the second series, the character was made a regular feature of the program. Through Noel's House Party, Mr. Blobby was seen in short comedy sketches, guest appearing on other TV programs. Mr. Blobby made regular appearances on Saturday morning show Live and Kicking, and Saturday evening show The Generation Game with Jim Davidson. The character has appeared in cameos on Dead Ringers, Harry Hill's TV Burp, Dick and Dom in the Bungalow, Get Your Own Back, and Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway. The character also appeared in the music video for Peter Kay's 2005 charity single, Is This the Way to Amarillo? There was even a Danish adaptation of Noel's House Party, but it didn't last a full series. He made a Christmas single in 1993 titled Mr. Blobby, which topped the UK singles chart for 3 weeks. It beat out Meatloaf's I'd Do Anything for Love and Take That's Babe, just to name a few examples of what it beat. Watching the video now, it's hard to believe it's real. Blobby gets given a sponge bath, smashes up a drum kit, and has Jeremy Clarkson as his chauffeur. His other Christmas song, Christmas in Blobbyland, released in 1995, and was voted the worst festive song ever by British Christmas shoppers in 2011 and 2015. In 1994, he even got a platform-based game for the Amiga and MS-DOS. Between 1994 and 1996, they opened 3 Mr. Blobby theme parks. You heard me. 3. By 1997, they were all shut down. Mr. Blobby has toured around the UK, making public appearances at events such as university balls and in pantomime, and has made short videos and sketches exclusively for his official YouTube channel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey Nate, yeah, this guy is pretty freaky and all, but why did he scare you? And to be honest, he didn't when I was younger. According to my parents, I loved seeing him on the television. But I'll let my dad explain this next part. I need you to explain to our lovely audience my relationship with Mr. Blobby.
Your relationship with Mr. Blobby?
So, because I remember you telling me before that when I was quite young, back in the UK even, I mean, we're talking like, what, maybe 5 or 6?
Yeah.
I used to love watching him on TV, didn't I?
Yeah.
And that's what gave you and Mum the idea to surprise me one year.
Well, we were at a party at my sister's house. I think it might have been Natalie, or it might have been Daniel's birthday party. It was something like that. And I don't know why, to be honest, I can't remember. I think it was fancy dress, or it was maybe for the adults were going to be fancy dress or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But for whatever reason, I don't even know how I got the gear together or anything like that. But I decided to dress as Mr. Blobby for the party, and when I came out when all the kids were in the garden, when I first came out in my costume, I was chatting with everybody and doing Blobby, all that kind of stuff, and all the kids were having a good time. But you were like freaking out, like no, you're crying, crying your eyes out. You don't want to say, it's all right, I'm Mr. Blobby. No, crying, go away, that kind of thing. Yeah, you were terrified, basically, of the Blobby costume, so I had to take it off eventually. But yeah, it was an unusual reaction.
It might have had something to do with just seeing him in person, just being too much. He is quite the annoying menace when you really think about it. There's no denying Mr. Blobby was not only a huge hit, but in some cases still is. I'm sure he'll continue to entertain in his slapstick, goofy ways. But I do know one thing for sure. That thing, it scares me.
Blobby, Blobby, Blobby!
Seriously, that thing is just atrocious. I mean, why come up with such a horrific monster? He's based on a monster, is this creation of Blob, or it's just, ugh. I don't get it. I do not understand why they thought something that looked like that would be a great idea. And I mean, the only reason it stuck around for as long as it did was because obviously there was a level of popularity backing. Noel Edmonds started off, and then, God, I mean, it's just bad. It's just bad. He's a horrific abomination, and I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad that I have issues with him. I don't feel bad at all. Yeah, no, he can burn in hell. Anyway, let's move on to our honorable mention. It's not really scary, although it kind of was meant to be. It's a horror comedy. It's very entertaining though. I really enjoyed it, and yeah. The Trapdoor. The Trapdoor is a British animated television series, originally shown in the United Kingdom in 1986. The plot revolves around the daily lives and the misadventures of a group of monsters living in a castle. These include a blue creature called Burke, a spider-like creature called Drut, and Boney, who was a skull of unknown origin. Although the emphasis was on humor and the show was marketed as a children's program, it drew much from horror and dark fantasy. A total of 25 episodes of The Trapdoor were made in 1986, with each episode running for around 4 minutes. A second series followed later with a further 15 episodes of similar running time, making a total of 40 episodes. The world of The Trapdoor is solely inhabited by monsters, and almost all action takes place in the monster's castle, especially the pantry or cellar, where Burke, the central character, lives. Beneath the castle are a series of dark and mysterious caverns inhabited by all manner of horrible things, accessible by the eponymous trapdoor. The master of the castle, the thing upstairs, resides in the attic of the castle and remains an unseen character throughout the entire show, shouting orders to Burke when hungry or annoyed. Burke has 2 companions, Boney and Drut. In most episodes, Burke accidentally leaves the trapdoor open, admitting a more troublesome monster than himself. But some monsters open it from below. Though mostly hostile or mischievous, the monsters emergent from the trapdoor include the amiable and periodic Rog, and occasionally others as harmless as he. I remember growing up, my older brother was the one who actually first showed me the trapdoor, and I gotta say, it really just it is very goofy. It's very silly. Yeah, it's got monsters and stuff, and it's claymation, but there's nothing really scary, horrific about it. It's just fun. It's just fun. I really enjoyed it when I was growing up. I really, really did. I don't remember watching all the episodes because there's like 40. I didn't know there were 40. I maybe have seen like 6. And yeah, they got some pretty funny plots and everything. It's interesting. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely one of the formative reasons why I ended up enjoying horror and dark fantasy in the way that I really did. Yeah. So that's a bit of insight for you there. So this has been number 1 episode. This has been episode 1 of The Things That Haunted Me. The next episode, we're going to cover things from when I moved to the States, when I was about 9-10 years old, up to about 18. So this will still be pretty important formative years. And there's quite a few things here that we can dive into, including looking into creepypastas and stuff like that. Wow, God, what a time! What a time! I've been Nate at Night. I've really enjoyed sharing this experience with you, and I sure hope you've enjoyed too. Let me know what kind of things scared you as a child. Let me look up some creepy, weird things that might make me think that maybe you're also just a goofy kid like I was. Share your experiences with me. Leave some comments. Share with your friends. The more interesting, weird things I can look at, maybe the more videos we can make. Maybe the more stuff we can cover. That'd be pretty fun. See you next time. Thank you so much to our Patreon members and YouTube members for making all this content possible. You know who you are.